the story begins. We are told that a big businessman from America, Park's son, is sick. The disease is such that doctors fail to find out about it. When the roads are closed, shamans are called from Korea to treat this child. That is, those people who can talk to souls while living in this world. They can solve people's problems in this world related to them. It is their job to meet and control the things that are invisible to her. We meet Shem and Harim, who came to treat this child with her assistant. Although the child's mother did not like all these things, but now she did not have any other option to save her daughter. Harim goes to some rituals to check this child, and she finds out that whatever issue is with this child is related to her grandfather or great-grandfather, or his great-grandfather. To talk about this, Harim goes to meet Park, where he finds out that they had shifted to America decades ago. Park's dad, i.e. the grandpa of this kid, is paralyzed, while his great-grandpa, i.e. his great-grandfather, had died 100 years ago. His grave is in Korea. Park also tells Harim that every child born in the country, there is always an issue like this. Like my elder brother, he also died in a similar disease in Pakistan. And now, my son, he is right in front of you. After hearing everything, Harim Park is assured that everything will be fine. But she will need the help of more people. The problem is a little big. She may have to go to Korea. After the scene cut, we meet a chemist in Korea. He is a factory expert. His job was to find a place for the dead, where their souls can rest in peace after their death, where they don't have any problem. If souls have any problem, they trouble their families. Like an old lady was coming to her family's dream and was troubling them. But according to Kim, her problem was not the grave. Actually, an old lady's friend's son hid her teeth, because of which she was angry. When the old lady's teeth are back, the problem is solved. After that, we see that she came to meet Harim from the graveyard of the same graveyard. Harim tells her about Park, who is a very rich businessman. But there is a very strange issue in her family, that every big son born in her family is sick. And all these problems are related to the land of Korea, because her grandfather is buried here in Korea. Next day, Park also came to meet Kim, because he had to get his grandpa's Exhuma done. Exhuma means to open a grave and bury the person who is buried there in another grave or shift. For this work, he needed all the information from Kim, and he was doing all this for his son. Park now takes Kim to his grandpa's grave, which was built on top of a mountain. This was not a graveyard. There were many foxes around this grave, and this was not a good sign. There was no nameplate on his grave. Park tells that his grandpa was a general, and this grave was allotted to him by the army. Kim was still not able to understand why this place is here. This place does not look like a tomb. He understood that the problem is in this place, and he discusses this with Harim. He tells Harim that there are a lot of evil here. There is a lot of evil, and I am able to sense these negative powers. Also, Kim tells Harim not to work here, because he felt that if he works here, his life could be in danger. Hearing this, Harim also gets worried. Anyway, Harim and Kim meet again at night, where Kim shares with them that soon his daughter is getting married soon. After hearing this, Pike gets emotional and tells them that he is my son, and he is going to die. This word of his made both of them emotional. That's why Harim decides that she will definitely help Pike. And she tells Kim that we will dig that grave. We can do a ritual there. A ritual that will make the evil go away, and then your problem will be saved. Kim liked this idea so much that he agreed for the exhumation. The next day, the exhumation starts. There was a parky art here. Because she was Jainpa's daughter, she couldn't dig the grave without her sign and permission. Harim brought all the ritual stuff here. There were 5 pigs too. The 5 people who were going to dig the grave were sacrificed. On one side, the digging of the grave begins, and on the other hand, Harim starts doing powerful rituals to distract the evil. At that time, a lot of people were with him. With the help of his music, Harim was playing with knives while dancing his drona. While doing this, she also puts a cut on her mouth. Then she cuts the bodies of the pigs and drinks their blood. His drona ritual continued until Grandpa's bones were removed. After removing the bones from the grave, a worker sees a human head snake in the grave, which was a very wrong sign. And even worse than that, he had killed someone without anyone knowing. As soon as he does this, the weather there becomes bad. The person who decided to cremate Grandpa's bones, his work also stops, although he wanted to do this work quickly, because he believed that Grandpa's soul is connected to bones. He can get peace only by burning the bones. Because Kim had seen a lot of negative things here, he collects information about Grandpa's grave in Basque village. After going there, he found out that most people don't know anything about that grave. And if some people knew, then this fact that their grave is full of treasures. The man who found out that Grandpa's grave was dug opens his coffin. As a result, the soul of the crazy Grandpa was freed. And this was the biggest and most dangerous thing. Thank God Hanim saw him. Now there is a hope that she will save everyone from this danger. To control the soul of Grandpa, she starts doing a ritual. But maybe it is being wasted, because the soul of Grandpa has gone to his house. Home means America, where Park's family used to live. As soon as he goes there, he kills his son and his wife. After that, Grandpa's spirit started to haunt Park as well. Park was very scared. At that time, he gets a call from Kim. Kim was explaining to him on the phone that Grandpa's soul has become free. He has also killed your parents, and now he is going to kill you. You better be careful. He was talking on the phone. Suddenly, the door starts getting knocked. When he asks, he finds out who was there. Kim on the phone and Kim at the door. The phone guy tells Park, "Don't open the door. It's possible that he is Grandpa's soul. You take care of him. I'm coming to you soon. But yes, you can open the window." Kim doesn't open the door, but he opens the window from where the soul comes in. It means that all this was done by the soul of the Grandpa. Grandpa's soul was talking on the phone, and Kim was on the other side of the door. The real Kim who was coming to save Park. The real Kim who was coming to save Park. When he comes in the room of Park with the key from the hotel staff, he sees that Park was completely possessed by the soul. After passing through the possessed Park, Grandpa tells Kim that why he is after his family. Actually, when war started between America and Japan, Grandpa Kim betrayed his own people and earned a lot of money. And because of that money, his whole family went to America. But because of whom he became rich, his status changed. They never came and asked him. Neither he came to their graves nor prayed for them. Because of this, he was so angry that he killed Park, who was now possessed, in front of Kim's eyes. While dying, Park tells Kim that a lion, like a big animal, has taken out a fox's bone. Kim didn't understand this at all. But now, Grandpa's soul had left to kill his daughter and Park's son after killing Park. Kim had only one way to stop him, that he tell Harim to burn Grandpa's bones. But to burn the bones, Grandpa's daughter needs permission. Kim immediately calls him and tells him that Grandpa's soul is now going to kill that little boy, who has no fault. To save his life, we have to burn Grandpa's bones. Instead of exhumation, that is, instead of burying in some other grave, for which Grandpa's daughter agrees, and Grandpa's bones are burned. With such bones being burned, Grandpa's soul is finished and all of them get freedom. But the story didn't end with Grandpa's soul. There is a big twist in this story. After Grandpa's soul is gone, Kim meets a man who did the job of digging Grandpa's grave. In his dream, big human head snakes were scaring him. scared that man says that those snakes will kill me. Kim asks him, "Since when is this happening?" The man tells him, "Since the time when I found that human head snake in Grandpa's grave, I cut its head and killed it." To know the whole truth, Kim goes to Grandpa's grave again, where he found that dead snake. Its head was like a female's, which is considered to be a very evil animal. Without thinking anything, when Kim opens this grave more, he finds a standing coffin under it. As soon as he sees it, he calls all of his friends and Harim. All of them take out the coffin. But they still couldn't understand why this coffin was kept under Grandpa's grave. This coffin was sealed from all sides. It was midnight. They couldn't do anything about this coffin. So they decide to keep this coffin in a nearby temple. It could be that there is some evil spirit in this coffin and it should not come out easily. That's why Harim goes here with his wife and children and they seal the coffin and leave. To know the whole mystery, Kim and Harim go to Grandpa's daughter and ask her why this big coffin was kept under Grandpa's grave. In reply, Grandpa says, "How can they be traitors? They were not even Korean, they were Japanese." The confusion is getting worse. Why did the Japanese bury them here? We go to the room and see Harim's sister, who was being scared by something strange. He reads some mantras and goes to check the coffin. As soon as he goes out, he sees a 7-foot-tall man, and that man was eating a human. Seeing all this, he shivers and calls out to Harim. It is found out that Harim was learning from his grandma in a dream, because his grandma was a great shaman of her time. Hearing her sister's voice, she starts to leave from here. But grandma holds her hand as if she has seen a big danger. But still, Harim gets up and goes out, where his sister was scared. They both together see the coffin, which was now open and empty. That means Harim's assistant, who saw a 7-feet-tall man or ghost, he came out of this coffin. Here in the coffin, there was a helmet which was of a samurai or a journal. These people understand that surely whoever was in this coffin was a samurai or a soldier. Meanwhile, that journal also comes out of this room, which must have come out of this coffin. Harim hides as soon as he sees him. And the general asks, "Is there a human in this room?" Harim replies, "No," and says, "I am a slave of humans and a tree spirit." Then the general himself asks him, "Do you have my favorite food?" Harim apologizes and replies, "No." And at this time, the general finds out that there is a human in the room. Before he could attack Harim, his assistant comes and saves him, and also attacks the general with a laser. But this attack didn't affect him at all. It clearly meant that the journal has turned into a very dangerous ghost, because now he grabs the assistant and steps his hand in her stomach and tears her body in half and hangs her before this ghost kills Harim Kim and his assistant come here. And this time, seeing this ghost, both of them were in a bad condition, because before today, they had never seen such a ghost before. 1 second passes and this ghost is given a chicken's bounce. It was about to be morning and he thinks that he becomes a ball of fire and flies away from here. For now, these people had learned so much that whatever this ghost is, it is in full power at night. But in the morning, it cannot use its powers. It is found that the ghost had torn apart and ripped apart Harim's assistant. She was still breathing. That means he was not dead completely. That's why he is being admitted to the hospital. And Kim now goes to the same grave where all this started, because it was very important to stop this story. Here we meet the people around us. We find out something, but they don't know anything. They come to the hospital again, where they find out that Harim's assistant has regained consciousness. When he regained consciousness, his eyes were strange. And seeing this, Harim and Kim had found out that he was possessed. That big-eyed general's grandson had made him his slave. And because of this, they find out that the general's ghost is protecting something here. What is it? Harim's assistant does not tell them. To find out all this, Kim goes to the grave again. He wanted to open the grave and find out the answer to his questions. What is here? What is this? The one whom the demon was protecting, he sees the same 7-foot-long ghost of the journal. Seeing this, he lets him know that this ghost may go anywhere at night. This ghost stays here in the day, surely to protect the thing which he doesn't know about. Standing here, Kim remembers one thing from the dead park. She said that the fox has attacked the tiger's backbone. The map of Korea looks like a tiger. So, the tiger is Korea. The scene was that many metal rods were buried in the ground to finish off Korea. According to Japanese ritual, these rods were used to destroy Korea by disturbing the positive and negative energy of Korea. The Korean shaman found out about these rods and started removing them. The people of Korea called them as grave thieves. But now, they couldn't remove a single rod from the ground, because that rod was buried by the Japanese in the body of the general. Through a ritual, a brave man's body is cut and a metal rod is placed in it. And along with that, many human organs are used to complete this ritual. For this whole process, the body of the general was used because the general was very brave. Even after his death, his soul was protecting this rod. Now that general, who had become a ghost, whose body had that metal rod, his coffin was erected vertically because all the other rods in Korea were also standing vertically. Now no one could find that rod or the general's body. On top of that, RK Grandpa's body was buried because he was also a general. In simple words, when there was a war between Korea and Japan, people tried to defeat each other with magic. In simple words, when there was a war between Korea and Japan, people tried to defeat each other with magic. By the time they got to know about all this, it was too late. It was nighttime, and it was time for the journal which had metal rod to get up. In all these years, he was able to get free from his coffin only because of Kim. Kim wanted to stop him, but this ghost started possessing him. To save Kim, here Harim throws blood on him, but he gets better after suffering a little. And in anger, he goes to fight Harim. But this time, Harim is protected by his grandma's soul. Kim had seen metal rod in the body of the general, and according to his knowledge of feng shui, the enemy of metal was wood. The general's ghost was also a bloodthirsty, so without hesitation, he puts his blood on a stick and stabs the general with it, which kills the general. The last rod that was put in the ground to destroy Korea, that rod also comes out and ends. On one hand, he has overcome his biggest problem, the ghost, and on the other hand, he has saved Korea. As soon as the ghost dies, Harim's assistant, who was in his possession, also comes out of there. All their missions were now complete. These people were now safe. Thinking this, these four breathe a sigh of relief. At the end of the story, we are shown Kim's daughter's wedding, where Kim was looking relaxed and she was found in a team in the form of Harim and his assistants. Showing these four, this story ends here.